But there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures.
Marjorie Taylor Greene said Jewish space lasers did wildfires. Like, what are we talking about? She is the elected representative version of Nick Fuentes, or at least used to be.
Thank you so much for being here, as you just heard. And I know you saw the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
I heard from someone that she fakes her accent. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I have been a believer. Up until recently, I always thought that MTG was just like sincere. She was genuine. Genuinely crazy, but genuine nonetheless. And nowadays, I don't know. I don't know if it's that she has like ambitions for higher office, and that's the reason why she's moving the way she is. But I don't think her accent is fake. I think she's just like that. I think she's like that. She is that kind of person. Interesting. She seems way more scared of the right than the left, or is it just me? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it, right? Yeah. I think when push comes to shove, we all know that there's one side that is responsible for the overwhelming majority of political violence. And it's not the fucking woke, non-binary, septum-piercing having they Dems, okay? It's the base. It's the right-wing base. That is where a lot of this violence comes from.
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that
this woman is still a Nazi. Don't let her departure from Trump fool any of you. I'm not being fooled at all. I'm just trying to make an honest assessment.
Is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, "It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that it really makes you wonder what is in those files." Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him. And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Well, before this blow-up, you sort of alluded to this just now. You said you were confident the president wouldn't be implicated. Are you still confident of that?
I'm listening to the women. Those are the ones that are saying that he did nothing wrong. Virginia Giuffre even said under oath that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and she wrote it in her book. So I'm continuing to listening to the women, and I think their voices should be the loudest.
The president said the reason that you have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia.
Yeah, we had to give that one. Marjorie Taylor Greene is just the biggest grifter ever, right? Lemo, she was a grifter. I think she's a grifter in the way that she's operating right now. Like, she is... Marjorie Taylor Greene is an insane person, okay? And insane people are sincere. I think we need to use the words correctly here. We need to use the terminology correctly here. I am of the mindset that Marjorie Taylor Greene is more an insane person than she is like grifting. I don't know if this is a moment of a crisis of conscience in a weird, twisted way where she like actually does believe the QAnon stuff and then goes, oh my God, this is the real QAnon situation that I knew was real, you know, and therefore, and therefore I have to speak out against it, or because she wanted to run for Senate, as AOC said, and then found herself being sidelined by the administration and wanted to like pivot. You know what I mean?
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Does she have the backing to become the new face of MAGA after? No. I think this is a political move for a presidential run. She's doing a trial balloon. If this plays well, she becomes the face of the anti-Trump right and steps into the role. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a less controllable entity than Donald Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene is unironically just as crazy as Trump, if not crazier than Donald Trump. The establishment don't want someone like that. The establishment don't want someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They want J.D. Vance. Or, I mean, there's different forces within. There's different forces at play. You have the tech bro, Silicon Valley freaks. They want J.D. Vance. The establishment Republicans wanted Ron DeSantis. Only the base wanted Trump. Do I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is capable of capturing the attention of the MAGA base in the way that Donald Trump was able to? No. I think there is a reason why I keep repeating this over and over again. The only man in the right. So how the fuck are you saying she's sincere? No, I'm saying throughout her career, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has been so insane that she is genuine in her insanity. A grifter is like Tucker Carlson, okay? Tucker Carlson has firm commitments and real beliefs, but Tucker Carlson also will change his Like Tucker Carlson is very good at tailoring his propaganda to a direction that he doesn't even personally believe. Like Tucker Carlson is not a person who actually cares about the working class. But because in 2016 he saw how popular Bernie was, he very quickly changed his commentary to make it seem like he was a populist, okay? To make it seem like Trump was a populist, to make it seem like he was truly invested in the problems of the working class. That's grifting. If you have no real ambitions of like helping the working class, but you claim that you want to help the working class in your commentary, that's grifting. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't talk about Jewish space lasers because she thought she made a calculation that like anti-Semitism would play well to her base, even if she doesn't actually believe it. She does believe it. She's fucking insane. Does that make sense? That's the difference between someone who is grifting and what grifting means versus someone who is sincerely a crazy person, right? That's the difference. Whereas now Marjorie Taylor Greene is moving in a very different way. So I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to figure out if she is actually grifting or if this is yet another moment of sincerity, but like she accidentally arrived at the correct position on some of this stuff. Now, that doesn't really mean much because ultimately the rest of her worldview is still horrifying, right? Is dog shit. Okay, I need to figure out a way to fucking make this darker without shit. Auto ISO is not working well for me right now. I think that seeing Charlie Kirk get assassinated in public buck with her. No, I don't know if that was what did it. I think the grift was the over-the-top behavior. Certain things made her popular, and she played into them really hard. Crazy people have ambitions too. True. My theory is that someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert, who are new blood in politics, are sincerely invested in unveiling the truth, whereas elected officials who have familiar connection to politics, lineage of established politicians, not going to want to fuck with their bag and go along to get along, not stand for anything insane, but actually wants to drain the swamp. No. Marjorie Taylor Greene dance in the sunlight tweet from 2024. For my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if you're going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to say yes. All the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims. Yeah. I can't tell. I'm not making sense of shit. We live in a bizarre world. Trump blew Clinton. I'm not predicting shit about anything. I don't think Trump blew actually give a blowjob to fucking. Come on, Hasan. We both know if Trump endorsed MTG for Senate, she'd be fighting just as hard not to release the Epstein file. She's a grifter. I think that's true. I think you're right. I think you are right, Chatter. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is moving away from sincerely delusional to calculated grifter era. That's my assessment. That's how I feel about this. Is there some truth to her resentment here? Surely, right? Especially if you are to assume that she was a real QAnon supporter, right? And wasn't doing it cynically. Like, there is a level of genuine resentment, I think, that exists, which makes it easier for her to do this pivot. But Charlie Kirk was a grifter, okay? Charlie Kirk was a grifter. Charlie Kirk talked about Epstein, and then as soon as Donald Trump gave him the boss call, he stopped talking about Epstein. That's grifting. Because if you were to probably ask him in private, I'm sure he cared about the Epstein stuff, right? But he wasn't going to fuck up the bag. He wasn't going to go against Donald Trump. That's grifting. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, sincerely believes some of the anti-Semitic conspiracies, and that's probably playing a role in her genuine beliefs about Israel, rather than just like tackling, rather than just like identifying a point of weakness, a void in the media landscape that she wants to fill by being the anti-Israel candidate. I don't think it's that calculated. I think for Tucker Carlson, it's that calculated. But I think for Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's not that calculated. I think she genuinely is like, yeah, Jews are up to some fuck shit, and Israel is a part of that, and I'm gonna address it. So that's what it feels like. This is not to give her any credit, but I do think Marjorie Taylor Greene's whole arc is genuine in the sense that it's what would probably happen if you took any insane Facebook commenter and made them actually experience legislatively dealing with the Republican Party for a couple years. You think Marjorie Taylor Greene saw the writing on the wall with Israel? No, I think that plays a role in it. I think if Donald Trump was pro Marjorie Taylor Greene and was like, oh yeah, you should run for Senate, I'll help you get a Senate seat, then she probably wouldn't be as aggressive on the Israel stuff. She definitely would be defending Trump with the Epstein stuff, for example. But the fact that she's not doing that right now is partially because she is a QAnon wine mom, and that guides her. That's like her primary directive. That's what a lot of her worldview is built on top of. But the other reason why she's doing it is because I think she also identifies that this is a point of weakness where she can make a name for herself.
And when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own, that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty and doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in. Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
So he said it pretty explicitly. Are you saying he's lying, or did he at least get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
I'm not sure. But I don't. That is untrue what he said. I don't know if he's being fed wrong information. I honestly have no idea in that area, but it is absolutely factually not true. Nor have I called him, and White House logs would prove that. His own cell phone records would prove it. I have not been calling the president, but I did post messages that I had sent to him, and that was to protect, get involved. This is important. The American people want the Epstein files released. And, I've stood with the president. I have disagreed with him at times, Dana, and I'm allowed to do that. I think that's the most important thing we can do as Americans. And I'm urging my party. I've been putting massive pressure on my party and our speaker to pass the agenda that the American people vote for. That's the agenda that I fought for. Those are the campaign promises I made. And I can disagree with the president at times, particularly this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years with a $10 million bounty up until March of this year. I
had to change the lighting up a little bit because it's not. I think it's a lot better now. It was too yellow in the room. Trump's turn against MTG only bodes well for her future prospects. No, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think it bodes well for her future prospects is because MTG, one, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think she speaks to the same fucking frequency that that Trump is able to tap into. Okay? That's number one. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to be able to hold the base together. You need to be a lot more charismatic. You need to be a better storyteller. You need to be like Trump. Trump has been able to present himself as Trump has been able to present himself as more moderate than we give him credit for here on the broadcast, because like we know exactly what he's trying to do. But for the average American, in both the elections that Donald Trump won, he was able to tap into I'm a different type of Republican successfully, right? The only time he lost was when, he was the incumbent and people knew exactly what type of Republican he actually was, right? It was in the heels of COVID, all this stuff. And what I mean by that is, like, with respect to Israel, for example, Trump always took this like weird middle of the road statement. He kept saying he was a peace president. That is, and liberals often don't understand this, but like that is a moderate presentation, positioning himself against Republicans as well, like Republicans that he identifies as bad Republicans, like ones that always want to wage war. Now, it's not real. Obviously, this is a lie, but the positioning is still there, and it's important to acknowledge it. And that positioning is a moderate positioning. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a little too kooky, I think. A little too cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I saw this tweet. It's funny. The artist. Yeah. It's so crazy. It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, honestly. I just don't. Is JD Vance this much better than her? He did the spread the Haitians eating cats and dogs. No, I think JD Vance is also a loser in a popular contest. But Hasan, that's not the argument I was making before. You might be right that she can't garner the same support, but the point is, threat, she is trying to. She's making a political move to it. Whether or not she'll succeed is another question, but her ambition. Yeah, no, that is definitely her ambition. Like I was saying, I don't think that the way she's operated so far will be helpful unless in a weird way, she also is tapping into that Trump heterodox method of moderation on certain issues. Because, like, if her goal is to win over the populist wing of the party that is super pro-Trump, she's going about it the wrong way by attacking Trump. You got to brown nose him, and you got to be in the inner circle. Especially as it stands, I don't think she's powerful enough to be able to thwart or pull away people from Trump's base.
That I think that was very hurtful to the great men and women who served over in the Middle East and were sent there, and many of them that were killed and injured and live with PTSD to this day from fighting al-Qaeda. So there's things I disagree with, and I'm allowed to do so.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea.
It's me.
I know what
I'm
MAGA
MAGA.
wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I've been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me. And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
So sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
I can say that promoting H-1B.
I mean, going on CNN and crying like this, but still trying to defend Donald Trump, it's weird. It's a tough sell, I think. On the one hand, she's like on CNN she's on CNN in a way that Republicans won't appreciate, because she's like she is attacking Donald Trump, but she's also trying to defend Donald Trump. I don't think you can pull this off. But maybe, I don't know. Americans, I don't know how fucking stupid Americans are at this point. I can't tell. Sometimes Americans can surprise you, you know? At some point, she's going to have to figure out which direction she's leaning in, because this tightrope is going to snap. And I think Trump has already decided she's out. If she was grifting to get that direction, doing it in the first year of the presidency is too soon to try that method. They're stupid. She's doing numbers in my family group chat right now. Wait, so your family group chat that have identified certain issues with Trump, like certain promises that Trump has made, that is not... Wait, first of all, is your family group chat liberal? Roach from Asmongold's room. Is your family liberal, or are they MAGA? Are they libtards, or are they MAGA? Oh, they're libs. Okay, that does... no. No liberal is going to vote for fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. Come on. At the end of the day, ask your family, if it was Marjorie Taylor Greene versus AOC, for example, who would they fucking vote for? That's not going to work. That never works. That does not work. Especially because of who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Yes, they will. No, liberals will always vote for a Democrat before they vote for a Republican, a Marjorie Taylor Greene style Republican especially. Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not like Donald Trump. She started off as a congressperson. Okay? She gained prominence as a congressperson. Donald Trump gained prominence as a television personality, so he was like, he could present himself as an outsider. She can't in the same way. And Donald Trump was able to present himself as an outsider, and that actually allowed him to win favors with a lot of low propensity voters, win favors with a lot of middle of the road guys, Obama swappers, you know? He presented a different vision for America, all this stuff. MTG doesn't have that background. It's not going to be as easy for her. She is seen as like a regular ass, well, not even a regular ass Republican. Up until this moment, she was seen as an insane Republican, one of the most like diehard MAGA Republicans. You are right, but never underestimate how much they love Never Trumpers. Liz Cheney or every person on CNN panel. Yeah, if liberals love Never Trumpers that much, Kamala Harris would have actually won. I'm telling you right now. My whole extended family is Obama Trump voters is crazy. Yeah.
Visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities. Those are not America First positions.
Subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service.
Continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought.
I'm not even saying damn to Dana. I'm saying damn for her taking, acknowledging it. Of course, Dana's gonna cook MTG. She's a Trump. She's a Trumpy. She's like far right. Not only is she far right, but now she's also anti-Israel, which is another thing that Dana hates. I'm just surprised that she's like, yeah, I take ownership over it. It's really toxicity. It's just weird, man. It's weird to see her try to fucking reposition herself like this. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't understand like how this will be successful for her.
For taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself.
It's just crazy because she's like, this is a real leopards eating my face moment for her, right? Like everything she's talked about, like political toxicity, political violence, you know, she is the biggest advocate for more political toxicity. She is one of the more polarizing Republicans, and Republicans are already incredibly polarizing. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense for her to just be like, oh, well, you know, I'll take ownership over it. Who amongst us hasn't said Ilhan Omar has done treason for being a mujahideen with a hijabi and Mohammedan? And I've said that she needs to go back to Somalia, but I take ownership over it. Maybe we should not do that. Like, I just don't, like, she is experiencing maybe a fraction of what she's dished out over the years. I just don't think that she's capable of pulling a Tucker here. Finally caught you live. I love your content. Thank you for educating this generation to be smarter. I'm trying, but I'm failing. Let's be real. I'm trying, but I'm failing.
And my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama, just examples?
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Okay.
I don't think she comes across as sincere. That's the other thing. Is she looking at Trump's numbers nosediving and just seeing that she could be an outlet for other Republicans that are disillusioned with Trump? I mean, Trump's numbers are nosediving with independents. They're not nosediving with the MAGA base. They might after this, if she's able to like put a dent in the armor. I read this as nothing but insincere. I can't see this as like sincere at all. She just sounds like she's going through the motions.
So on that, I do want to ask you about something
like she sounds more sincere when talking about how Israel is fucked up for blowing up children. You know what I mean? She sounds even more sincere when she's talking about Jeffrey Epstein, because those are things that she actually does care about. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but still care about nonetheless. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, cares about Israel partially because she thinks what Israel is doing is crazy, and partially because she is anti-Semitic. And she cares about Jeffrey Epstein partially because she believes in the QAnon conspiracies, and partially because she, I think, cares about child predation to a certain degree, right? We saw the real anti-pedophilia Republicans when this Epstein stuff first started blowing up. The people calling into, you know, the what's the dude's name? Fuck, I'm forgetting it now. Jesus Christ. Like the people who were calling, Republican TV shows and radio shows, Glenn Beck's show, and being like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what the hell's going on. Why is Trump behaving like this? This has 9 million. This has 1 million views in 9 hours, and people are buying what she's selling. I mean, I disagree with. Yeah, no, these are liberals. These are liberals. Wow, she took accountability. That's fucking crazy. That was actually crazy. It doesn't come across as sincere, but it's crazy that she actually is taking accountability. I'm not a Marjorie Taylor Greene fan, but it sounds like typical GOP. See, this is what I mean. Liberals are eating this up. But that doesn't mean anything. Liberals believing Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to move the needle. If she wants a higher office, she needs the Republicans to come on board. No liberal is voting for Marjorie Taylor Greene as opposed to these are all liberals. These are all liberals who are experiencing someone who has been an incredibly far-right nuisance in American politics, basically engaging in a heel turn. Liberals love someone coming to their side and telling them that they were right, and she's not even fully doing that. But I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people are responding the way that they are. It's the Republicans that we need to figure out.
Just yesterday on X, you questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And
Marjorie Taylor Greene perfectly capturing why nobody grifts to the left. I mean, she's not grifting to the left anyway. She's grifting. If she would, she'd be grifting to the liberals, not to the left. Nobody, and I mean nobody, grifts to the left at all. There is no use for it. There's no reason for it. You just don't do it.
I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people.
Yeah, this is also important. Worth noting, Jeremy Bash, former chief of staff of the CIA and the Department of Defense, and ex-husband of CNN host Dana Bash, had dealings with a top Israeli spy who stayed for weeks at a time at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment in New York. They continued to coordinate privately together for years. So that's another thing you have to remember. Like, Dana Bash is not only super pro-Israel, but she is connected to people who are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. So, like, you know, there is that. There is that. That's important to remember. So, oh, God, American politics is so crazy because, like, everyone is to varying degrees of evil, okay? Everyone's got, like, some evil in them, whether it be a member of the media, whether it be a politician, of course, many politicians, but it's just like there's always something out there.
And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the president of the United States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
I simply asked. No, I simply just...
Just admit that you don't want to watch a beautiful woman succeed in politics? Oh, no, you clocked me. Are apolitical normies a non-factor in this equation? Any possibility normies influence institutional Republicans to take serious look at MTG as an alternative path for the Republican Party? No. I think the base is so cult-like in their loyalty to Trump that until that dam breaks, you won't see a lot of movement here.
Asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against...
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials.
The Massey Marjorie Taylor Greene bots have been flooding X for about a week now. Come on, man. Oh, he is like, he's on his Democratic Party shit right here. This is like very liberal coded. Oh, it's Russia. Oh, it's bots. Hey, guys, the affordability crisis is not that bad, okay? Everyone's lying. Your pockets aren't hurting right now, okay? How dare you? How dare you assume that you're actually having a tough go at it? Come on. We've improved. The price of turkey has gone down by 2 cents. Don't you like marginal and modest and incremental gains? This is hilarious to see in action.
But there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his...
Okay, I don't think MTG... Marjorie Taylor Greene literally hired Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm pretty sure she still has a direct connection to Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay? You need to understand something like that is... Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene said Jewish space lasers did wildfires. Like, what are we talking about? She is the the elected representative version of Nick Fuentes, or at least used to be. What the fuck? I mean, look, I'm here for the heel turn. I'm here to watch him fight, okay? Yeah, she spoke at, I think, a Nick Fuentes conference, like an America First conference. So let's see what she says.
Didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views. You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie.
Yeah, also, Dana Bash is the last person to fucking complain about Nick Fuentes. I'm sorry, okay? Before people go, two wrongs don't make a right or whatever, she literally has had Randy Fine on her fucking broadcast. Okay? It's ridiculous. And also, Dana Bash herself has similar opinions. Maybe not as extreme as Randy Fine, but like Dana Bash is also fucking pro-Israel, you know? Israel's doing a genocide. Like, this is a real instance of violence that's currently taking place that she is in support of. This is the dynamic that frustrates me so much, because as someone who finds Nick Fuentes' politics to be repugnant, I also find pro-Israel politics to be equally as repugnant. That's it. That's what's so fucking annoying about this shit, where it's like, you can, like, this only reaffirms what people see, the inconsistency that people see in American politics, which is you can be as horrible as you want to every single marginalized identity except for Jewish people. Now, many liberals, I don't think, actually operate like that, but members of the media do operate like that, it seems. Like, that's what I'm seeing from the way that they are tailoring their commentary here. And there are others who have also pointed this out. Nick Fuentes is anti-Semitic, but this level of outrage from Dana Bash is disingenuous. CNN has interviewed Randy Fine multiple times, and they've never held him accountable for any of his vicious Islamophobia. They have no problem when other groups are being targeted. Yeah. This kind of stuff is visible first and foremost to the right-wingers, by the way. They see this shit. And when they see that inconsistency, it causes them to lean further into anti-Semitic conspiracies. You know what I mean? It is such a glaringly obvious double standard that I think even the dumbest guy can recognize it. And then they go, "Oh, I'm noticing." It's like, if Nick Fuentes never said what he has said about Jews, but instead said it about every other minority, as he does, for the record, he does say those things about every minority, right? He would not be in this kind of trouble. It's obvious.
I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I defend every single person's free speech rights. I think that's incredibly important. So I don't apologize for that, and I don't believe in canceling people. And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to interview everyone. I don't believe in trying to cancel someone by refusing to interview them and question them. And I did speak at his conference back in 2022. However, I don't know Nick Fuentes. He's someone I've never exchanged text messages with or phone calls, but I did speak at his conference. That was the first time I had met him that day, and that was it. But I did watch the interview. I watched the full interview with Tucker, and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of powerful information
I hear what
that
you're
he
saying.
does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And this is a man invited on a really prominent conservative show who said, even during that interview, he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he has.
Yeah. Once again, why free speech and there's hate speech? Okay. CNN host attacked Tucker Carlson for hosting Nick Fuentes. Fair enough, but they've hosted Randy Fine multiple times, who has been openly as violent and as racist as Fuentes. But because Fine called for violence against Palestinians, CNN sees that as just standard political discourse. And Randy Fine hasn't just called for violence against Palestinians. He's also called for violence against Muslim congresspersons like Ilhan Omar, for example, and Muslims in the United States of America. Randy Fine is more overtly Islamophobic than even Nick Fuentes is overtly anti-Semitic, because like there is still a degree of stigma, institutional stigma specifically, around anti-Semitism. So Nick Fuentes has to like dial it back, and it still comes out, right, at times, but no such institutional stigma exists for Islamophobia. So Randy Fine gets to say whatever the fuck he wants about Muslims.
Denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on. So again, there's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview.
Why would Trump care about the next generation of Republicans? Because they're working as his staffers. They're a part of the base. They're eligible to vote. They're a wing of the party, and he is. He can't stand to lose any of his loyalists at this point. He can't.
I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel.
Of their government.
And I can criticize any government I want to in the entire world, as well as our own. And a lot of the times I'm criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus. And that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a...
Did they ever see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nick Fuentes? That Nick Fuentes is Islamophobic as fuck, but will literally just... Nick Fuentes is Islamophobic as fuck and racist as fuck, but he's at least smart enough to be like, oh, really? You think it's unacceptable for me to say something about Jews, but, you know, you have Randy Fine on, and he can say whatever the fuck he wants about Muslims. Why? Marjorie Taylor Greene is not smart enough. That's why Nick Fuentes is more dangerous. Do you understand? Nick Fuentes is smart enough to actually address that, to hit that as a line.
Good quality of life.
Yeah, and I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and you know, some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically against Jews. But I do want to end this conversation with a question.
Yeah, I mean, I already covered it. Yes, this is the drop side piece, but like, Nick Fuentes, who praised Hitler and is openly anti-Semitic, says Republicans are hypocrites for tolerating cruelty and abuse towards Muslims, black people, and other minorities while drawing the line at anti-Semitism. He argues his own politics are simply the logical endpoint of that bigotry. It's true. He's right. It's literally fucking true. Republicans, I mean, I've been saying that. I've been saying that nonstop. Fascism is the purest distillation of reactionary politics. It is the logical endpoint, the logical conclusion of the Republican Party in this country. And unlike Pat Buchanan, and even Richard Spencer, as a matter of fact, it seems that Nick Fuentes came at the right time. Okay? Because he's not the first. Why does the wording sound like he's been watching your streams? I'm certain that he does. I'm sure he does. At the right time, yes. At the right time to seize on, at the right time as in a time where the Republican Party is more open to an actual acknowledgement of fascist politics. Yes. No, that chatter is talking about Nick Fuentes' own analysis of him being the logical endpoint of Republican politics, which is true, and it's an analysis that I've actually engaged with quite a bit. Breaking: Dem fundraising group SRG reached out to Epstein in 2013 on behalf of the House Minority Leader, Representative Jeffries. Give us a call if we would like to get involved with the dinner, or you would like to get an opportunity to know Hakeem Jeffries better. That's crazy. I think the next successful pivot towards full fascism in America is a candidate co-opting the free healthcare, housing, and other socialist principles. Many fascists have done so in the past without mass education and organization. The left will lose that fight. Yeah. What? Yeah, but what Nick wants to happen is let's be racist against everyone, even the Jews. Unlike you say let's end bigotry against everyone. The lesson they get from that is not to end racism, but let's normalize it for all under free speech. America first flag. Yeah, I know. That's my point. We are on the diametrical opposite worldviews here, which is why it is unimaginably frustrating to see dumbass bitches like David Frum running around and just trying to get people to see the dangers of the extreme left as well. And for most liberals, I think when they see that, they go, no, that's not the same. Shloan Rockmuth is a journalist who has decided to obsessively attack a staffer in his 20s because she doesn't like the views of his father. Every time I see a public attack on Buckley, it's a complete lie. And yes, I notice every person with an agenda who unfairly attacks a good guy who does a great job for me. Fuentes called this guy a fat gay race traitor married to, and this is a slur, I think, right? It's a common Indian name, but I think right, Nazis use it as a slur. And yet he continuously humiliates himself by pandering to the Groypers. Yep. Don't say it. I mean, I said Jeet here earlier because it is a name as well. Like, that's literally a name as well. And that's contextually in that situation, it's actually being used as a slur, so I'm not reading it, but like, come on. It's not a slur. No, I know it's not a slur. It's a name. That's not an Indian name. It was made up to sound similar. And I think it's Prajit, right? Yeah, it's almost like Tyrone. Exactly. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I think it's a common suffix too. Yeah, it's also just a name. It's like literally. Anyway. Yeah, Jeet here appears on Majority Report all the time. Yeah, I just read his commentary as well. He's you know.
Question to you, and that is, do you see a situation where you and President Trump can make up? And if not, do you think you have a future in the GOP?
Well, I certainly hope that we can make up. And there's, you know, again, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Christian, and one of the most important parts of our faith is forgiveness. And
Okay, cool.